Awesome. Welcome to the Dreaming Morocco Cultural Immersion Tour and Goddess Retreat. I've been getting lots of questions from folks, and I wanted to try and answer all of them today by going through the itinerary. This is the second year of the Cultural Immersion Tour and Goddess Retreat. Last year, it was just a cultural immersion. It was 17 days. And I started doing this after taking a trip to Morocco with Experience Morocco, Rashid's company. And it was such a whirlwind adventure. And I'd always wanted to go to Morocco. And I felt so loved and welcomed immensely. It was kismet. And so I moved 9 months later. I moved here, no questions asked. And I still do this retreat. It is, and in response to people talking to me about what they're interested in Morocco, a lot of people, I'm a coach, so I do lots of life coaching, career coaching. So people wanted more of that, as well as adventure. Some people just wanted beach. Some people just wanted to come to Africa and chill out and then have a self-discovery retreat. So what Rashid and I did is create 3 different incarnations of the Dreaming Morocco retreat. So I'm going to talk about the 17-day first, okay? Now, all 3 of these happen simultaneously, August 1st through the 17th, all right? And if you're only doing the 9-day, you will join us on the 9th day, right? If you're doing the 6th day, you will join us on the, what is that? There's 6 more days, 17 and 12th day, okay? So let's look at the Cultural Immersion Tour, all 17 days. This is for men and women, okay? So day 1, you will land in Casablanca, which is the capital, all right? This mosque to your right is the Hassan II Mosque. It's gorgeous. And this will be our first stop on the trip. You will land the day before in Casablanca, check into your hotel that we've reserved in downtown. And then at 6 o'clock that evening, we will meet for an orientation, and Rashid will walk you through the logistics of the trip, how it's gonna work, when we're in a van, when we're in a car, when we're on a train, okay? The 17-day is totally inclusive. So it's a complete cultural immersion that starts in the north of the country, in the capital. We then go to the mountains and we go through Roman ruins. We go across the country into the desert. We meet Berbers, or the Amazigh, which are the indigenous people, like we have Native Americans. Well, the original Moroccans are indigenous, and they were Berbers, called by the French, but they call themselves Amazigh. So day 1, we'll start in Casablanca. We'll have that 6 o'clock orientation, and then we all go to dinner as a group at a restaurant nearby the hotel. Then we get up early the next morning and we go to the Hassan II Mosque, which is the 2nd largest mosque in Africa. The 3rd largest mosque in Africa. It is absolutely gorgeous. It is on the water. And this is a picture here to your right. It's just beautiful. I'm probably gonna add some video of that because Brett did a wonderful video by the water there. Then we get back in the car. Okay, here I am on your left. All right, we get back in the car on day 2 and we drive to Rabat. And Rabat is the administrative capital, like their version of Washington, D.C. It's where the king's offices are, it's where all the embassies are, and it's on the Atlantic Ocean. It's absolutely beautiful. So we stop in Rabat and we go through the old city, the Medina in Rabat. It's really beautiful. We go to the castles that overlook the Atlantic, called the Udaya, the Kasbah, the Udaya. And we spend some time chilling on the beach, and we do a little bit of shopping, and then we have lunch, okay? And then we head to the most famous village in Morocco, most famous city. It's called the Blue Pearl. And well, before we go to the Blue Pearl, I'm forgetting about Rabat and Meknes. So these pictures to the right are one of the castles that we visit. And this is in Meknes. but Rabat is very similar, and we'll pass some more pictures like that. But this is a 12th century castle built in Meknes, which we visit right after Rabat. And we go in and we see the aqueducts. We see how the king had a granary that was the size of Yankee Stadium, and it was filled, and he fed all of the people. It's kind of amazing. The Roman ruins we stop at a little bit later, and you'll see more of that as we go along. So after we leave Rabat, we're going to see a castle there. It was a pirate's castle called Udaya. It's kind of amazing. And the Moroccan king cut a deal with these pirates who were robbing everybody that, okay, we'll give you this castle in Rabat that overlooks the Atlantic Ocean if you don't rob us anymore. And then you just rob other people who stop by. So, it's the pirate's castle. It's kind of amazing. It's really, really beautiful. Let's see if I can find a picture for you. We get back in the car after we've walked through Rabat, and we do a circle of Rabat. It's really a small, beautiful city. We go by the pirate's castle, we have lunch, and then we get on the train. No, then we're picked up in our car, no train. And we head to Chefchaouen, which is like epically just so beautiful. Here we go. Here's the pirate's castle. I'm right here. It's gorgeous. Lots of boats, and people go skiing, water skiing and sailing here. Okay. All right. So we head to Chefchaouen, the Blue Pearl. To your right here, you see I'm in blue. The city is called the Blue Pearl. It's the one that you see in all the pictures because the entire city is blue. It's really a gorgeous, gorgeous place. So here's a picture of the blue city. All of the walls are blue. Inside the buildings, this is a picture of a traditional Riad home, which is built around a courtyard. And I live in one of these now. And we will walk through these neighborhoods with the old traditional Moroccan homes. This is a group from last year, okay? The Blue Pearl of Morocco is just this extraordinary city. I'm gonna stop here. Where you walk, everything is painted blue. And we spend 3 days in a hotel overlooking the mountains and the city. It's absolutely gorgeous. It was a place that I've always wanted to visit, and we found a way to include it on the retreat. And I'm really excited about that. We stay in Darshawen, which is a beautiful traditional Moroccan hotel that's built into the side of a mountain. It has a pool and a gorgeous restaurant and various courtyards. It's really stunning. And we eat lunch, and I think we do one dinner here in Chefchaouen, and we walk through the market. Now, every major Moroccan city has what's called a Medina, and a Medina is the oldest part of the city. And most cities in Morocco have been continuously inhabited since the 12th century, sometimes by the same exact families. It's kind of extraordinary. So, we're in Chefchaouen for 3 days. This is one of my favorite places in the world, and it's so peaceful. So then we leave Chefchaouen, and we head to some of the really exciting, fun towns, okay, after Chefchaouen. After Chefchaouen, we go to Volubilis, which are the ruins, original Roman ruins of the city. And you get to walk through them with a tour guide. It's really beautiful. So much of it, and the pillars are left standing. This is a shot of us in the archways in Volubilis. And then we stop for lunch after we leave Volubilis. So we leave Chefchaouen, we drive by Volubilis, we go to lunch. And then from there, we are going to drive through the Rif Mountains. This is how we get to Volubilis. And we're heading to Fez, which is one of the oldest cities, continuously inhabited since the 12th century, with one of the largest medinas in the world, an old city. It is famous for leather, carpets, pottery, the embossed metal designs where you see all of that wrought iron designs and lamps and things like that. It's a craftsman's paradise. And it is a very confusing old city. So we have a special guide who was born and raised in Fez, because Fez is notorious for you getting lost in the old city. So this is us having dinner in Fez. We have a fancy dinner in Fez, this fantastic family-owned restaurant. So Fez is where you shop till you drop. All right, let me say it one more time. Fez is where you shop till you drop. All right, there is beauty everywhere. These are Moroccan dried herbs that you use to scent your bath, that you use to make potpourri, and Fez has them everywhere, and they're freshly dried and delivered each day. So Fez is a shopper's paradise. I bought pottery from the artist in Fez. So when you go, we go to several craftsmen's workshops in Fez where they make it in front of you and you can ask them to alter the design, change it, and then they'll deliver it to your hotel the next morning. Fez was sort of magical. I also got some beautiful leather in Fez. I think we passed a picture of the leather tanneries in Fez. They're beautiful. So we go on a tour of the leather tanneries. We meet some of the artists there. We go on a tour of Le Céramique, which is a artisanal co-op of potters. And we go and see them make pottery and fountains and tables and vases. And we spend the afternoon there. And if you make a purchase, you make a purchase. If not, we don't go. So here we go. We have the leather tanneries. Ooh, you just skipped it. I'm so upset. Go back to the leather tanneries. So we're in Fez, so we see leather tanneries, we see ceramic. We go to the co-op where they make pottery, and we go to another cooperative where they make pottery with metal lace embossed in it. Kind of amazing and beautiful. And a lot of the wrought iron doors and decoration that you see are done in Fez. So we stay in Fez for 2 days. We got a lot to do. We also have this kind of amazing food journey in Fez, which is sort of a surprise. And when I come back next week, I'll tell you about it. But there are foods in Fez that you can eat that you're not going to eat anywhere in the world. So if you're an adventurous eater like an Anthony Bourdain, Fez is your place. All right. After we leave Fez, we are heading to the Middle Atlas Mountains in the desert. Now, this is a lot of people's favorite part of the trip. The Middle Atlas Mountains are stunning. From most cities in the south, like in Marrakesh, we watch the sunset over the mountains. And we go to a tiny town in the mountains, and we stay overnight in a traditional Moroccan riad, which are these homes that are built around a courtyard. And the one that we visit in the Middle Atlas Mountains is built into the side of a mountain. And on the rooftop is where people eat under the moonlight or under the sunlight. It's extraordinary. And, you know, they build a fire for you. The family lives on one floor, and then they have guest floors, right? And you get a host for your time there. And we are there for 2 days. Then we pass through Todra Gorge on our way to the desert. And we're going to be camping overnight in the desert. Now, let me talk about the desert for a minute. People say camping, they're like, I don't do camping, and da-da-da. This ain't no camping that you know nothing about. You're going to be camping like a Bedouin. And the Bedouins are the nomadic tribes of Berbers, or Amazigh. In Mali, you have nomadic tribes as well that are Bedouins. They are people who live in the desert, who've figured out the secrets of the desert. And they are people who traveled across Africa, went to Asia, and brought silk and medicines and healing things across Africa into Morocco, into Europe. These are the Bedouins. So we go to a Bedouin camp, and their tents are made of leather. They have real beds, Moroccan beds, and beautiful Persian rugs and Moroccan rugs thrown on the floor. Rugs from everywhere, because these were the people who traveled, right? All through Africa and Asia, bringing back goods. So we stay in a traditional tent, and dinner is made for us by these beautiful men in their African robes. And yes, there is Wi-Fi. I was on a camel riding to our campgrounds, and my tour guide Instagrammed me on my camel. And they have a functioning bathroom and a kitchen that's built on site to accommodate Westerners. So it's not all rough in it. But we have dinner by candlelight under the moonlight, and then our host play Moroccan drums for us. It's by campfire. It's actually beautiful. And then everybody gets up early to watch the sunset over the Saharan desert. It's very special. Morzuga is the overnight in the desert. And we ride to our campsite by camel, and it's about an hour. Hour and a half, it's a little long. It's about an hour, and you take lots of pretty pictures. It's very exciting. After we leave Morzuga, we drive through the gorge, and we go to an oasis in the desert. You know, you hear all those stories about, oh, the desert, you come to this place where there's lots of trees and water. Well, those are real. I kind of didn't know they were real. We go to a Berber oasis, it's a Berber village. And in that village is an original Berber house from the 12th century that's been turned into a museum. And it walks you through the life of a daily Berber person living in an oasis. And you see water, and you see these lush gardens in the middle of the desert. It's kind of extraordinary. And that's Bumandades. And we spend the afternoon there. And we go to the museum and we have a tour. And from there, we head to Skura and Ait bin Adu. Now, Ait bin Adu is the famous structure that you see in the Game of Thrones. I thought I had a picture here. I'm looking for a picture. I thought I had a picture. I'm going to find a picture of Ait bin Adu for you. These are my brothers that do all the cooking for us in the desert in their blue robes, in their Bedouin robes. Yeah. Yeah, baby brown Jesus is just walking around randomly. Ait bin Adu. I'm going to find a picture of Ait bin Adu for you. Give me one moment. This is Ait bin Adu. It's a 12th century kasbah, which is a village of connected traditional Moroccan houses. This is where, if you follow Game of Thrones, the Unsullied soldiers, they are lined up in front of this, and Tyrion and the Queen of the Dragons are standing on a ledge that you can see over here, overlooking the army of the Unsullied. It was shot here. This city has been continuously, well, it's a village. It has been continuously inhabited since the 12th century. And there are craftsmen, families, so families who make rugs, families of famous painters, you know, that's passed down from generation to generation, actually still live there. I mean, it's sort of nothing short of amazing. Ait bin Adu is one of my favorite stops. And we stay in a beautiful riad right outside of the city, where you wake up and you have breakfast overlooking Ait bin Adu. And we go on a tour through the city when we arrive. It's an extraordinary, extraordinary place. You feel like you're in Game of Thrones. So, we've done some camping in the desert. We go through Ait bin Adu. We even get to travel by the studio, which is the Hollywood of Morocco, as we leave Ait bin Adu. And if folks decide to stop, we stop there. Gladiator, Jewel of the Nile was shot there. So we pass by there, and en route by passing by the studio, we stop if people want to take a tour. And then we go through a small town that's famous for making everything out of rose petals. And we stop at a cooperative there, where everything is made, from food seasonings to bath products to oils to rose water spray. Like, the city of roses is kind of exciting. It was a great stop. So we leave then, and we drive through Toubkal National Park, which is one of the highest altitudes in Morocco, and you feel it as we drive up to the top, but the view when you get there is nothing short of amazing. This is actually where we spend the night, in the guest house, in the mountains, okay? Now, if you were doing the 9-day version, I'm still on the 17th day, on the 17th day, but the folks just doing the 9 days would arrive in Marrakesh, okay? on August 10th, and then they would be transported to the beach town of Essaouira. All right. Meanwhile, those of us on the 17th day will be leaving the mountains and driving to Essaouira, Morocco's Windy City, which is another famous port city on the Atlantic. And all the beach shots that you see, this is Essaouira. This is Essaouira. This city, and our guide will take us around Essaouira. It's one of my favorite places and has amazing seafood. And this is where you'll meet the Ganawa. And the Ganawa were originally Africans from Guinea and who migrated because they were nomadic to Morocco and became Moroccans. They intermarried with Moroccans and they have a culture known as Ganawa. The music, the food is Moroccan with a Guinea twist. It's stunning. And there's a huge festival that I'll be going to next month that happens in June for 3 days. It's the Ganawa Music Festival. It's famous and it happens in this port city. New Year's in Essaouira is also kind of amazing. So we spend 2 days in Essaouira. Here we visit the woodworkers cooperative, and the wood is breathtaking. And we see how they make the furniture that you see, the Moroccan furniture with the pearl, mother of pearl embedded into the wood. We go to a cooperative where they make that. Essaouira is one of my favorite cities. We also go to the Marjane Women's Cooperative, and Morocco is famous for cooperatives. Now, you'll be coming, if you're on the 9-day, you're right, you land in Marrakesh, which is the southern part of the country. You meet us in Essaouira. After we leave Essaouira, there's also kinds of craftsmen from all over Africa. We go to the famous silver jewelers, the Jewish jewelers. There are Jewish Moroccans. The city of Essaouira, when you enter the city from the port, there is a bab, which is those stone archways that I showed you in the Roman ruins. Those stone archways and doors are called babs. And every major city has several babs. And the bab, as you walk into Essaouira, has an engraving of who founded the city. And it has Christians, Jews, and Muslims all on the same wall. It's to say that these are the people who built this city. We're all Moroccan. It's kind of beautiful. And you see the influences of all of those cultures in Essaouira. And the importance of Essaouira is everything that was everything and fabulous in Europe and eventually in America came through Essaouira. Soap, tea, honey, silk, all the stuff from China came through Essaouira. It is one of the gateways to Europe. And then from Europe, it made it to the New World. So Essaouira is a big port city full of hippies and musicians and traditional Moroccan fishermen. It's an exciting place. And when you hear about Morocco and people are doing movies, they're usually talking about the beach town of Essaouira. I almost moved here, but then I chose Marrakesh. But I spent a lot of time in Essaouira, and you will fall in love with it too. So then after we leave there, the folks who are on the 9-day tour will join the 17-day tour people, and we will leave Essaouira. We will stop by some argan oil cooperatives and have a presentation. And the Marjane Cooperative is slamming. It's all women. And we get to practice making argan oil if you want, with the mortar and pestle and the whole nine. And then we go into the store and we try all kinds of famous Moroccan argan oil products. Argan oil is from Morocco. There's no other place in the world that makes argan oil. It's magic. It's magic to cook with. It's magic to put on your body. And it's also it also is the basis of their black soap. So we have a couple of hour presentation here where we go through the cooperatives and watch the women making argan oil by hand, no machines. And they've been doing it this way for centuries. This is one of my favorite stops. And there's some women who are musicians that play drums. It's kind of amazing. When they take breaks, they have like a drum session where everybody's eating their sandwiches and playing drums and dancing. It was kind of crazy. But we ended up dancing in the argan oil warehouse. It was a lot of fun. And then we go shopping. And then we get back in the van and we are heading to Marrakesh, where it all happens. Now, the people who are doing the 6-day will join us here in Marrakesh, which is my home city. It's where I live. It's about a 2-hour ride from Essaouira. I live 2 hours from the beach. Marrakesh, I guess, is what you would call hip New York City. It is a famous Medina. When you hear about the snakes and the snake charmers and the monkeys and all that craziness in the middle of the plaza, they're talking about Marrakesh. Now, just like any other city, this plaza is like Marrakesh, Morocco's version of Times Square. It's everything that Moroccans make being sold there, and you can lose your mind in there. But you can also have the best gelato you've ever had, the best Italian coffee, the best Moroccan coffee, which is called nous, which is like these shots of espresso with frothy creamy milk that's hot. It's extraordinary. You can have tagines that are a mixture of Ganawa culture, which is Guinea, West Africa. I also had the most amazing Senegalese Moroccan food in Marrakesh. So again, Marrakesh is an hour and a half from Europe. So you see lots of French and Spanish influences in Marrakesh, in the food, in what's sold, in the rugs, in the carpets, in the architecture. You will see some of the most amazing architecture of your life. And what I actually love, people always ask me, can I eat organic? Well, in Morocco, well, everything's organic because it came from the earth that day. So when I go to the corner store, I buy my bread that was made this morning. I buy French bread and I buy Moroccan bread, because Moroccans make a semolina bread that's kind of like cornbread. And so I buy that fresh. I buy my meat fresh. So fresh that it was just killed today with the chicken. And they chop it up in the back and clean it for you and give it to you and say, let it sit in the refrigerator overnight. It'll be perfect tomorrow morning. If you're into organic vegetables, the vegetables are out of this world here. When you bite into a tomato, you taste the earth and sunshine. The vegetables are so incredible. And I buy them fresh every morning. People don't keep food overnight here. You buy just what you need and you cook it that day. So everything's fresh. That's what I love about Marrakesh. So if you feel like you're a city person and you want to party and you want to go to bars and you want to do all that shazazzle, Marrakesh is your place. If you want to go to their version of Times Square, Marrakesh is the place. If you want to shop on quiet streets in the old city, Marrakesh has that too. I'm moving to a tiny home. Well, not tiny. Tiny by Moroccan standards, because most traditional Moroccan houses have 6 or more bedrooms. I'm moving into a 3-bedroom traditional courtyard home. And I'm living in one of the quiet parts of the old city. But I'm a 10-minute walk to the Medina, which is the big marketplace and the big souks. And they surround their version of Times Square, which is called Jama de Fina. So that's the wild place. You can go there at night. There's live music. There's performances. If you want to do Marrakesh in a quiet way, that you can do as well. So here, when we get to Marrakesh and we start the goddess retreat, the men and the women separate, and the men will go on a series of adventures of their own, from cooking classes to horse riding, camel riding, museums, the Yves Saint Laurent Museum. You visit his house, the Bahia Castle. There's so much to do in Marrakesh. So there'll be a sort of list of what you want to do, and you'll sign up. There's also the hammam, is a traditional Moroccan bath. There'll be a list of things to sign up for that everybody can sign up for. And then the women will go to a traditional Moroccan riad, and for 6 days, we will do our goddess stuff. Now, if you're just doing the goddess retreat, you'll join us here, okay? On the 12th in Marrakesh. The goddess retreat will be 3 days of goddess stuff, focusing on just us, okay? The goddess retreat, day 1, we'll go back to the itinerary now so you can see them together. All right. Day 12 is when the men and the women will split. The women will go to traditional Moroccan riad, and we will do workshops. The first one is Claiming Your Space, Movement and Dance. Esra Warda is a bicontinental artist and dance teacher of North African dance. She is Algerian. She lives and works in Marrakesh and in New York City. You can catch her classes all over New York City, but she will be coming in to teach a North African dance class to the women. Then we will do some Find Your Purpose, Work and Life with my Dreaming Out Loud technique, which I can tell you all about in next week's session. And we will do a couple of hours provided during this time. And at the end of that first day of the goddess retreat, we will do the hammam ritual, do a black soap, traditional bath, then they rinse you off. And if you want to do the Moroccan rasoul clay, and people always ask me about clay. Okay, rasoul clay is from Morocco. It's fantastic for African-American hair, BTW. And in the hammam, you have that, and then you get to a la carte, you know, whatever choices you want to do in the hammam. The men have their own hammam that they can go to as well, or if they're married couples, they can do the hammam together. The hammam is a 2-hour ritual, and then you sit, and it's usually done in a private riad spa, in these traditional Moroccan homes, and then you can choose other services like massage or a hot tub or oriental bath, where they sent you in a bath with mint leaves floating. I highly recommend it. And that's the hammam. And then at the end, we go on the rooftop of the riad, and they serve us traditional Moroccan tea and pastries. So the next day of the women's retreat, meanwhile, the guys are on the 17th day, you get to choose from a whole bunch of stuff that you do. And we have that menu will be a la carte. So guys can choose which things they want to do, and everybody sort of breaks off and does what they want, because we have lots of offerings, and you can't possibly do everything. You can't do balloon riding and horseback riding and cooking class and all the museums in 3 days. You just can't do all of that. So you get to pick and choose. Now, the second day of the goddess ritual, we'll do the claiming our space. We'll do move and dance again. We'll do the finding your purpose in work and life retreat, or I do that exercise of dreaming out loud. And then we will go on a shopping tour. You ready for it? No, we have the henna party now. And a henna party, henna is usually done at home, or it's renting a space for a woman who's being married, and all of her friends and her aunts and all the women get together and do henna paint, tattoos. I have my hands and my feet done, and sometimes my arms as well. And you'll get to choose which henna you want. We'll be served tea and 5 different kinds of Moroccan breads and fresh fruit and snacks. It's going to be extraordinary. And then lunch while we're having the henna party. Dinner, you can come and meet with the guys. Dinner will be on everybody's own. We'll give you a list of restaurants. If you want to make a reservation, we'll do that. Then the women, again, the next day, will go kaftan shopping in the Medina. And I will take you to my secret haunts, not the tourist spots, to go shopping for kaftans, like the kaftan I'm wearing. I moved to this country so that I could wear clothes that were beautiful, that felt like pajamas for the rest of my life. And that's what kaftan shopping is about. We also can go to some of my favorite jewelers. I think I've shared the video in the Morocco group, and I shared it on my Instagram page of Ibrahim's amazing antique Berber jewelry. So we will do that during our time. And all of that is in preparation for the next day, where we do a goddess photo shoot. And we will go to Le Jardin Majorelle, which is the home that Yves Saint Laurent built here in Morocco. And it's all Margerot blue. This is a famous color in Morocco. And that's where we took this shot. And we spend the afternoon there, and we'll go to some other riads and Mamounia, the famous palatial hotel built by the King of Morocco, and listen to some jazz and have some cocktails and take more pictures. That's the retreat, people. That's it. So again, we have the 17 day, okay? That's for big dogs. If you're ready to live like that, do it, all right? Now, let's see what some folks have to say about the retreat.
Absolutely. Beyond what I imagined, and so empowering. The sights, the food, the culture was a full cultural immersion. But I think the thing that really, really, really touched me the most deeply was the empowerment time with the Moroccan women wearing their hijabs. And living in the world as we are right now, with so much fear mongering towards Muslims, both, just around the world. For me, it was just amazing sitting heart to heart, eye to eye, breast to breast, and realizing these are women who have the same hopes and dreams that we do, the same emotions, the same desire to connect, and that's exactly what it was. It was a soul connection. I am very grateful for the experience. Thank you, April.
Y'all made me cry. Oh wait, that's in the recording. I got to cut that.
So my editing of all the videos is shaky, but I get all teary behind the camera. And I'd like you to meet Brett, who we went to college together, and she did the tour last year. And we'll talk a little bit about her. We're going to meet Brett before she went on the retreat and then afterwards.
About me, I live in New Jersey. I live right outside of New York City. I've been here for a long time. April and I went to college together. That's how we know each other. I work at an educational testing nonprofit right now in operations. But I love to travel. That's one of the things I really love to do. That I love to dance as well. A lot of my travel, at least as of late, has been connected to my dancing life. And also just like to share with friends and eat a lot. I'm a big foodie. So those are just some of the things I like to do. And I would say this trip, the reason why I'm doing this trip, one, because when April told me about Morocco, and she was so excited when she was on her trip to Morocco and when she returned from Morocco, that of course it was contagious. And anyone who is ready to plan a trip before they even come back from the trip and wants to plan it with other people, I'm all for that, and I'm excited for that. I would say in terms of places I'd like to go in the world, I can't think of very many places that aren't on my list. And Morocco has been on my list for some time. So when April came back and said that she was going to plan this trip, I was on board from the beginning. So as soon as she put it together, I was ready to press go. And I've never taken a trip this long before, so this is going to be something very special, I think, for me to take a trip for close to 3 weeks. Is going to be, for me, usually most of the trips I take are, a week, maybe 10 days on the long side. So this, I feel, is going to be awesome because it'll be such a big deal and such an immersive experience. And I think I'm really ready to do something like that. I am right in the throes of, I guess, what would be middle age. I just had a birthday last week. It's a kind of semi-big birthday. So I wanted to do something to kind of really push myself, to go to a place where it would be so much different than what we have here in the U.S. I've taken a couple of trips to some countries that have been very different, like India, and I feel like Morocco will be a little bit like India was for me when I went quite some time. I went to India it's been 15 years since I went to India. And that was quite a different place because it's such a different culture and such a different, they have such a different day-to-day experience than we do in the States. But it was a great trip. It was a challenging trip, but it was fantastic. And I'm ready to do something else that's like that. I also love the fact that April was putting in a retreat element into the trip. I'm at the time in my life where I'm really thinking more about what is my next chapter in my life, what else I would like to do with my life, and thinking a lot deeper about who I am and taking more time for myself. So I feel like this trip will do that as well, and I like the spirit of that. I love the fact that it'll be a small trip. I'm not big into large trips. I've taken some very large trips before in my life, and they were great, but I do like being with a smaller group of people. A smaller group of ladies will be nice, where we're kind of going through this together, but it's not completely overwhelming, and we kind of have each other to lean on, and that feels good to me. I do a lot of travel by myself as well. So I'm not accustomed to, traveling with tons of people anymore. I'm used to traveling with either very small groups or alone. So I thought this would be a good way to travel to Morocco as well. I also am getting better. I'm a 2-time cancer survivor. So I think that's important to mention in terms of where I am in my life as well. I have been, on the road to recovery for the last couple of years, but it's also still quite a challenge for me living day to day with, because even though you're a cancer survivor, you're still living day to day with cancer. So for me to I'm still getting used to what we call the new normal. I'm still getting used to that. So I'm still dealing with that. And I feel like travel does, help to push me in different ways and also helps me to feel good in this kind of new space and new body and new everything that I'm in. So that's kind of where I am. In terms of what I'm doing to prepare for the trip.
So I'm going to move forward and let's meet Brett while she's on the trip.
Like, just beautiful, just driving up to the mountains and just. There were so many just beautiful, just driving up into the mountains and just seeing that sun. Did we see the sun? Did we see the sun?
Oh, we're losing.
Rise in the mountains, yeah. Or the sunrise in the Sahara. I could never explain that to anyone. You have to see it. Like, there's nothing where people say their sunsets are beautiful. No, it's not beautiful. You can see the sunset and a sunrise in the Sahara. It's amazing. It's amazing. And then just seeing how, I don't know, it's just very freeing to be here. Yeah.
And did you do some shopping?
Yeah. A little.
What'd you buy, Brad?
Some things. Just a couple things.
So how many bags did you come with, Brad?
I had one check bag.
Now this is the luggage. This is the luggage of 3 women leaving Morocco. They each came with one bag, and then we had to do shopping for an additional rolling bag. Now they are prepared to return with their booty. Moroccan booty. That's what this is what this is called. Moroccan pirate booty.
And I was trying to think of that. I was amazing. We didn't have a song for that.
Red, who are you? Which one is
About
12 minutes. 12 minutes. So, Brett, this is your last day in Morocco.
All right. So we've met Brett. I think that's, yeah. All right. So folks have lots to say. Y'all want to know how much this costs? Let's get down to price structures. So, let's see. Okay. It's a 9-day. All right, the 17-day, which is the ladies you just met. The total amount is $4,506. That includes 17 days, 14 cities and towns, beach, mountains, breakfast. Several dinners are included in there as well. And Morocco, you can eat for $5. You can have a nice meal. If you want some wine, okay, $10 and dessert. The $4,506 is available in payment plans and installment plans, right? So you're getting all of the travel to the cities. You're going from the north of the country. This would actually be like going from California to Miami in 17 days and seeing the entire United States. That's essentially what the 17-day tour is. You see the entire country. You see all of the cultures. You move from mountains to desert to sea, coastal towns, to beach towns, all the way back to the cosmopolitan city on the southern tip of the country. You go all the way across the country. You have essentially seen the country of Morocco and experienced it. Its ruins, the old and the new. All the camping, all the eating, all the shopping. And you meet artists in every place that you go who actually make these things. So, and the goddess retreat is included. So the meals during the goddess retreat are included. The photo shoot is included. The hammam visit, the spa visit is included with the goddess retreat, the dance class, the women's retreat, which we do with Moroccan women who live here, where we do the deep dive work about finding your purpose. So it's all $4,506. You can pay for it in 2 payments, or you can pay for it in 3 payments. We even have a 4-payment plan. How about that? Where you pay $1,160 a month, okay? All of these installment payment plans disappear May 1st. So if you want the installment payment plan, you got to come with it by May 1st. That's Wednesday. Now, if you can't do it this year, we have extended 12-month payment plans for people. You can't say, I can't do this. Oh, I'm gonna come back to you. We'll go through those numbers, but the payment plans start at $178 a month. So we'll come back to them. Let's go back through.
Hello, this is your last day in Morocco.
Oh, no. We have to turn off
How
the video.
Epic.
Okay. So, why am I doing this? Why don't I just go to beach and retreat? Now, if you're doing the 9-day, which is the beach and the retreat, August 10th through the 17th, it's $22.92 total. Payment plans start at $590 a month. Again, those payment plans all disappear May 1st. All right. Or you could do 2 payment plans, or you could do 3. This is easy. This is a no-brainer. You could do this today. All right. This is essentially the goddess retreat plus 2 days on the beach in Estaouira. How about that? So you get all this stuff in the goddess retreat, but we start in Marrakesh. We pick you up. We bring you to the beach city. We shop. We see stuff. We go to the port. We eat fabulous Ganawa food, and we have a Ganawa music concert while we have dinner. And Essaouira, it's one of my favorite stops. And then you come to Marrakesh, you do the goddess retreat and your photo shoot, and hey, you're done. And I'll have you at my house for tea. So it's $22.92. If you're going to do just the goddess retreat, which you fly directly to Marrakesh, in 6 days, we see the city of Morocco, of Marrakesh, and we do the retreat. Day 1 with the North African dance, the Find Your Purpose in Work and Life workshop, and the hammam bath ritual. The 2nd day, we do North African dance again. We do some more goal setting with your purpose, and then we do the self-care and healing ritual, which is the henna party, in which the henna artist comes to us and paints us. We pick out designs from a book, and she paints our hands and our feet, and we have tea and cookies and snacks and lunch. It's very exciting. Then we go caftan shopping in the old city, and then we do a photo shoot in our new caftans around the city. And then we take you home. If you'd like to stay an extra day, most people do, or 2, we can arrange that. Great. Now, the goddess retreat is $2,076. Payment plans start at $534 a month. Again, all the payment plans disappear May 1st. The entire sale, along with the 2020 extended payment plans, disappears May 15th. All right. If you want to do the 2020, it's 12 monthly payments for the full retreat, 12 monthly payments of $386.75. I do this to make this trip possible for people because it changed my life, and I think it's life-changing for everyone. So that's why no other job in town, no other tour guide in town is doing 12-month payment plans. So I'm making it affordable, but only until May 1st. So you can do the 17-day for $386 a month for the next 12 months, and you'll be set for 2020. You can do the Dream Morocco Beach and Goddess Retreat for 12 monthly payments of $196.75. You can do the Dream Morocco Beach and Goddess Retreat. I'm sorry, this is just the Goddess Retreat for 6 days for $178 a month for the 2020 trip. It will happen again August 1st and 17th. Payment policies, the first $500 is a non-refundable deposit, okay, to guarantee your space. Okay, that's it. Do I have questions? Y'all ready to do this? Anything? Comments? This is going to be downloaded and put on the website so you can follow along, have fun. And I'm going to leave you with the final word, not from me, but from Antoinette on her final day of the retreat.
Bye, April. It was such a wonderful, wonderful trip. You don't know how many blessings that you have given me. How much learning I have learned. I had to live with 5 women. I had to climb mountains. I was on the beach. I have never enjoyed such an experience. It's been such a journey and such an eye-opening for me. You're making me cry that I'm leaving you here. I feel like I'm at home. I love you.
Other travelers, when you see travelers, they feel like, oh, you're traveling too, so it's not so much.
So you can come back to the page here, and I have footage of the ladies talking in the gardens and all kinds of exciting stuff. So I leave you with the dreamunlock.com is where you can learn more about the retreat and sign up. You have until May 1st to experience these amazing payment plans. I hope to see you here. I hope to go caftan shopping with you. I'm doing my little pink and white caftan situation today. Okay. And I hope to be drinking tea with you in Morocco. Any questions, comments, thoughts, concerns? Andrietta's on board. Andrietta's coming earlier and doing her own little retreat here in June.
I certainly am, and I'm trying to get a group of women, friends of mine, to come back and do the whole retreat. And I have someone who's already interested, who's doing a retreat of her own in New Orleans in June, and she's very much interested in coming. So we're going to explore the 2020.
That would be amazing.
It would be.
It's so affordable now.
And I want to bring my daughter.
Oh, that would be amazing.
And my son and my whole family. We're all traveling to Madrid in June, Madrid in June. And I'm going to get them interested, and maybe we'll all come together to Morocco
that would be
next year. So
that would be amazing. I'm doing bespoke retreats for folks who want to do coaching with me. I'm doing my first bespoke retreat at the end of June with a client who's coming in to do a writer's retreat, and then she's going to spend 6 days here, and we're going to see the city. My cousin is bringing her entire family, and then I have another client who's coming with her daughter. She wants her daughter, she's 5. She wants her daughter to see Africa, so she will be coming in August and doing a private retreat, and we're hiring a babysitter to travel with her and showing her their entire country. So if that's something you're interested in and you want to make that happen this year, you got to talk to me before May 1st, just because high school is June, right? So I will be doing bespoke retreats between now and January. But if you're going to do that, you have to book it by May 1st. The prices triple now that we're in high season. So if I'm going to negotiate good prices for folks and make it not $20,000, more like $4,000, you got to make that happen before May 1st, so that I can deal with prices that are
amazing. Thank you so much for sponsoring this.
My pleasure. I want you to see the magic that I found in Africa, my new home. Thank you, guys. I'll be back here next week. Same time, same place, same bat channel. I'll see you then. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.